So today we're going to go through 5 of the most common Canva Brand Kit mistakes I see small business owners and creators make, and also how to avoid each one. I've been a professional brand designer and art director for nearly 20 years, and most of the branding mistakes that I still see have got nothing to do with talent or creativity. They're small, fixable principles that can quietly make a brand just look less professional than it actually is. No complicated design skills required, just simple fixes that you can make today. Let's start here because this is the mistake that's really a kind of precursor to all the others. Your brand kit is the key to building brand consistency, and it's not just about making your brand instantly recognizable. It's about your bottom line. Industry research shows that companies that have a consistent brand presentation across all different media see revenue increases of roughly 23 to 33%. And sure, it takes a little time to set up your brand kit properly, but the return on investment is huge. And just a quick note, if you're on Canva's free plan, I know that the brand kit feature is not available to you, but that doesn't mean that you can't build your own brand kit using a simple folder structure and a brand document inside Canva for your guidelines instead. Having your styles established and ready to hand doesn't just speed up your design process, it removes friction and decision-making so that while you're working, you can actually spend your time and energy on the stuff that actually adds value. Honestly, even if you have one logo and just 2 colors right now, set up your brand kit anyway. It's the difference between a brand that starts to feel really intentional and one that feels like a different brand every time somebody sees it. Now, this one is very close to my heart because it's where so many brands fall down. I know how tempting and how much fun it is to experiment with different fonts and colors all the time, and everybody wants to find that perfect combination. And there's always some creator telling you about new fonts they found this week in Canva. But the truth is, constantly changing your brand fundamentals is way more damaging than using just a popular font or a limited color palette. In fact, the quickest way to make a brand look amateur is to have too many fonts and colors on everything. And more doesn't give you more flexibility. I believe that brands that stick to just 3 colors, say a light neutral, a dark neutral, and a highlight color, actually give themselves more scope to then experiment with layouts and get creative with designs, while still maintaining consistency by using those established colors and styles. And the same goes for fonts. Not every brand font has to be completely unique. There's a reason certain font pairings have stood the test of time. If you're not a designer, stick to font pairs that are known to work well together. Sure, add a fun font for a call out here and there if you want to, but legibility should always be your #1 priority. So this is actually one that has driven me mad my entire career, if I'm honest. Don't ever stretch, crowd, or squash your logo into a space it wasn't designed for. Whether you have a simple word mark with just your name in text or a more detailed logo, show it the respect it deserves for representing your brand. Leave space around it, use it in the proportions and the layout it was designed for. And if you keep finding that you need it in a different shape or a different size or format, that's not a sign to distort it. It's a sign you need a proper variation created for that usage, so that it works better for you day to day. Because genuinely, nothing cheapens a brand faster than a squashed or pixelated logo in its content. This is the mark that identifies your brand every time somebody sees it. Whether you created it yourself or you had a professional designer do it for you, protect its value. Create some simple guidelines for how to use it properly, and then stick to them, even when it feels like it's getting a little boring. Especially online, it's essential to guide your viewer through your layout. People tend to scan the page, they don't read every word on the first time round. So when every bit of text on the page is the same size and the same weight, it means nothing stands out to the eye, and so people just tend to move on. Good design guides the eye to what's important first, second, and third. Without that hierarchy, you're asking your audience to do the work of figuring out which parts matter, and most people just won't bother. Their eyes just bounce straight off the page, and they scroll to what's next. Start by picking one thing in your design that matters the most on each page. and make it obviously bigger or bolder or higher contrast than everything else. And always give your content space to breathe. So number 5 is really something that ties all of this together. But before we get to that, if you want to learn more about what works and what doesn't when it comes to using Canva efficiently for your brand and your content, that's a big part of what I cover inside my Canva course called Canva OS. Canva OS is designed to help you learn to use Canva like a pro, with calm and confidence instead of feeling overwhelmed. Our next enrollment opens in September, so if that does sound like something that you would be interested in, just scan the QR code on the screen right now, or use the link in the description to join the waiting list, and you could be the first to know when the early bird pricing goes live. This is really an important one, and it's the one that I think so many people get wrong, especially when they're using Canva. I see this often. Somebody spends hours searching for and picking a template. Then they don't love how it looks once they've added their content, they assume the template's the problem, and they just start all over again. But it's seldom the template that's the issue. It's the workflow and whether the 4 things that we've just covered are actually in place and easy to apply. Let me show you what I mean. Here is a single Canva template, the kind of template people think of as a typical or maybe even an overused Canva template. But the template can look completely different and work for 5 completely different brands if you apply established brand styles and imagery that reflects your vibe. So this same template can feel elegant, it can feel moody, youthful, modern, even playful. It's the same basic layout, the same basic structure, and a completely different feeling each time. That's why having an established and consistent brand style matters so much. Because then the template is just a framework. Your brand style is what actually makes it work for you. You don't need to start from scratch or pick a new template every time you have to create content. So that was just a quick overview of 5 common mistakes that could quietly be making your brand look less professional, and of course how to avoid them. Now, if there's one of these that you would like me to do a more in-depth tutorial on, please let me know in the comments and I can add that to the list of content coming up. The great thing is that none of these require you to be an expert designer. They just require a bit of time and consistency and having your brand fundamentals set up and easy to use, whatever template you're starting from. And of course, having a repeatable process, a workflow for designing inside Canva makes all the difference. If you found this helpful, please make sure to subscribe. I would really appreciate your support in growing this channel so I can create more content like this for you. Have a fabulous week, and I will see you in the next one.